Okay, so I'm going to start by sharing a little bit of one of the videos. There's an example that I wanted to show you guys for an immersive experience, and I'm just going to let it go for a minute here as we get in, and I'll grab on to, now let's say, the orchestra here first. It is, yeah, I'm recording video right now. So just going a little bit of how you can build an immersive experience with an example of me with a 360 camera. It's me.
To the right of us, we have Young, entrance to Secret Bay. Straight ahead is Theater, please. Non-motorized traffic only. Beautiful spot in the bay.
Woohoo!
Everybody, this is Gabe down at Social Media Breakfast 97, and I'm down here with Michael. Hey there. We were doing a 360 video. I've been coming down to social since I think we were in the single digits, and some big stuff coming up here, number 97. What are some of your favorite things about Social Media Breakfast? Some of your favorite things?
You know, the most favorite thing is people, the connections we make and the information we're able to share each month. It's what keeps me excited about it. Keeps people coming back.
What's one of the big things coming up here at Social Media Breakfast?
We have a lot of exciting things that I can't unveil yet.
So I'm going to go through just one more video a little bit, show you guys a little more example of what you can do with 360 video. I'm going to show you guys how you can do some of this and use it to implement with customers, investors, other things. Please, if you get a chance, go into the chat and put in your name and who you're with, and super excited to keep working with everybody.
This is Gabe. Just finished up our last class in our presentation for the mini MBA at the University of St. Thomas Walpus College of Business. Had a great time. I love my teammates, and the class was awesome. I would definitely be coming back for another one. I think my next step is going to be going for an executive MBA, a full MBA. But for anybody out there interested, I would definitely check out the University of St. Thomas mini MBA and executive MBA programs. Great classes, great professors, people that are super experienced in their field, and just did a lot of learning, thought of things that I wouldn't have thought about on my own for sure. Business applications and experiences, and learned a lot from my cohort and the teammates I had for the presentation too. So in a minute here, we're going to find out who won and be done for today. We'll all connected on LinkedIn, and I'm sure we will continue to be connections and sharing our love for what we did here in the University of Thomas. Have a good one, everybody.
So stopping sharing my screen. I know we got a couple people in here now. Just wanted to see if you guys get a chance. Please put your name in.
So we're going to talk first. Candace, as Ms. Cologne's.
If you guys get a chance, please put your name in the chat over on the right-hand side for the event. And if there's anything specific that you want to cover, certainly let me know. Interested in what you guys do for what your product is, what you're looking to learn out of what I've got to present today for video, any of those kind of things. So Gabe Skelly Video Productions, part of a family business that's been around for a long time, working in nonprofit education, lots of different startup things. I got into video, honestly, when I was probably 6 or 7 years old. My grandpa, Jerry Skelly Sr., had me schlepping video cameras that were, I think they were beta cams, where we had little batteries that were, I don't know, super heavy. They were this big. The last 20 minutes, we remember doing stuff for the Mounds View Lions, CTV, City of St. Paul. We did a Wild River State Park promotional video 30 years ago that I was part of. And so I got into video production via my grandpa. He got me into doing this stuff. He was the head of educational television for the St. Paul Public Schools. He was the chair of the North Suburban Cable Commission in the local here in Twin Cities, and just did a lot of stuff, interviewed presidents and a lot of public leaders. So my grandpa got me into doing this. My mom's also a video person. My uncle Jerry's a video person, and I've got 4 kids who are also into doing video. So a big part of my life. So I've I guess played a lot, because if you love doing something, even if it's work, it's play, right? So pretty much every organization I've gone into, if it's a day job, I brought in video in some shape or form to help connect with customers, clients, doing things for investors, nonprofits, lots of different things in those realms. So the first thing I want to start with is anybody introduce themselves in the event or for this session. I see Michael and I see TJ. How do I keep fresh, keep learning? So some of the things I do is I just watch what's out there, right? I've been a member, actually sponsor and member of Social Media Breakfast, SMB, MSP in the Twin Cities market since 2008, 2009. And just awesome stuff, right? Just talking about what's happening in marketing and what's happening in technology and what's happening in the world to keep people involved in tech. I've been involved in the technology community here in Twin Cities for, since 2013. So been, 7.5-year veteran of the Twin Cities technology market, and just a lot of friends and all kinds of developers and different things. So I learn all kinds of tools from people that are going out and doing various things. So if you guys have anything specific that you want to learn about, let me know. If it's about support or if it's about sales or connecting with investors or sharing your story, let me know. So I've kind of got a gambit of different things. So I'll share again just for a second the idea of doing 360 video. So if I go into my YouTube channel, I shared some things earlier. I can also share them here, but I put together a playlist for Twin Cities Startup Week of some things that I've been involved with and that I've actually videoed with 360 cameras. And I'm going to show you guys the camera that I use to video these. There's a lot of different 360 cameras out there, but ones that I like are the Ricos, which are the Theta cameras. I'll show you what mine looks like. And kind of the idea of bringing you guys in and showing you this is, imagine that you've got customers or you're doing some training and you've got people in, say, a room, but they're on the other. You can stream in 360, and you say you've got somebody with an Oculus headset on or a different branded headset, and they're sitting and they want to see, who's in front of them, what's happening with this thing going on over here, or what is this person doing with their violin or viola, and what is that movement that they're doing. You could zoom in on this, and then they switch around and they say, oh, they've a cohort of people, there's somebody behind me. Example, the conductor, maybe this is going to be the teacher. A lot of educational uses as well for doing 360 and fully immersive. So a lot of cool ideas. Now, to bring the idea of 360 in, a couple of things that you guys need to use, and I'll show you these. The first thing is going to be, I've got a Ryko Theta 360 camera here. And you guys can see this. It just is a dual fish eye lens. It's got the ability to connect in with USB and mini HDMI. I shot a lot of these that I'm showing here on these, so you guys can see some of the 360 options here. Some of the kind of cool things that I've learned about these is, again, you can stream these. You can stream from 360. If you're going to use 360 and jump into it, use a tripod. As you can see here, especially if you're going to be in a fully immersive kind of reality with using your 360 video, it gets really shaky. So this is actually me up in a remote part of Alaska, sea kayaking with my cousin, who is the executive chef of the Glacier Bay Lodge. And we did sea kayaking for a couple of days. So awesome video. And what I realized is the best way to see some of these videos is something as simple as an Oculus. So put them on, right? Fully immersive. You can see what the headsets look like here. It brings you in, and it's a full 360 motion experience. So, you want to see one thing, you move around up and down. Simple Oculus, you can get these, this is an Oculus Go. Picked it up new for about $150. So pretty inexpensive technology to get into fully immersive 360 video. And you can, like I said, you can do some cool stuff. Just share your message, build a more immersive story, because, how much more immersive can you get than having somebody where you can move around and see what's happening, just like you would if you were actually there, versus watching a two-dimensional video of what's happening. So use it for support or training people or just covering events. A good way to connect with these. I've seen people do 360 videos for, I said, a lot of training. If you're doing, imagine you're training somebody on how to use a product that's actually a material product, using 360 video to do that. I'm going to exit out of here and close that one down. So 360 video is one of the first things I wanted to cover. Inexpensive, yeah. So you can get into so Ryko has got these 360 cameras. If you pull them up, you can get a one in 4K, so actually a lot better resolution than I've got right now, and they're about $400. So really easy to get into. The apps will download via Wi-Fi to other devices. One of the things you get into is hosting, and if you're in a startup or nonprofit, realm, no easier place to host just about anything than YouTube, honestly. Build out your YouTube channel. You can upload all kinds of your content to that. Exactly, Michael. Yeah. So you could use it in Google Cardboard or with your phone if you're doing 360. So, just put it and move around. Oculus is still fairly inexpensive, but you could use it just your phone too. But getting 360 video is as easy as getting a inexpensive camera. I like the Theta stuff, the Ryko stuff. It was the Pentax company. So if anybody's familiar with lenses, Pentax was one of the big leaders in lenses. I think they still make great lenses. And they were purchased by the Ryko company. So they've got basically Pentax lenses in the Theta devices. So, and not to get too far into the device, but give it a try. Grab a 360 camera, transfer it into YouTube. You can actually stream it into YouTube as well if you've got the technology package, and people can see what's going on in 360 on what you're trying to cover. So I really like 360. It's a cool technology. Honestly, when I started videoing in 360, there wasn't as many ways to digest it. So there weren't easy ways to use a phone, and there wasn't easy ways to do, the Oculus. You could just zoom around, but I thought it was still cool then. Still photography as well. So the 360 cameras, just like this one, we've gone to a lot of conventions, done a lot of family things, done a lot of things for customers, doing 360 stills. Not a better way to capture a big convention hall or a big event you're at, or a wedding or a birthday party than full 360 blown up, where you can have somebody that's not there fully immersive in that room. I think you can use them for the Google My Business 360. It's a different kind of file. You just need to connect them up. So when you're doing 360 files, not to get too deep into it, but it's going to generate a higher resolution file that's basically 2 fish angle lenses that you need a software package to stitch together. But there's a lot of plugins that can do that for you. So, and I love 360 stuff. I'm actually kind of a dork. I'll show you guys something here that I don't show a lot of people. So this is my phone. And you might look at it, it's a little different. It looks like an iPhone. It's not, though. It's a Nokia. I have been a Nokia fan for a long time. I was an iPhone user for a while, went back to them, and it's because lenses and camera are a big deal for me. And one of the things that I like about my Nokia is it's got Carl Zeiss lenses. So if you're into lenses at all, I mentioned Pentax earlier and the Theta devices. Nokias have Carl Zeiss lenses, so lenses are a big deal to me. I use different devices to do video on the fly when I'm out doing video for customers or myself. Don't love the audio inputs in my phone, but I've got a lot of external audio inputs. So I can get into that too. So whatever you guys want to cover in depth and any of the things I'm talking about, let me know. Kind of covered the 360, getting into the basics of that, just sharing your message with donors, with people that are doing fundraising. I've been a rider in the Minnesota Red Ribbon Ride. It's a 300-mile bike ride to help support beneficiaries that work in the AIDS and HIV community in Minnesota. I've learned a lot over 15 years of doing that as a person asking donors for things. And honestly, nothing connects with donors better than video. Doing a video you bring up on YouTube and you share with them, doing a video that you share on your Facebook Live, doing a video that you share in 360. Just sharing video really can help craft that message. And when I talk about crafting that message, I'm not talking about, something that's maybe even super produced, something that's really about who you are. What's your elevator speech? Do you have a 30-second elevator speech that really describes, what your business is, what your startup is, what you're asking your investors? Like, what would that be? And how could you transfer that into video? And if it's not something that you can easily transfer into video, just you, right? Connect on that human level, person to person, with the people that you're trying to do business with, or trying to get money from, or trying to get donations from. A lot better than sending an email or having something that's static. Some of the tools that I like to use, aside from 360 video and YouTube for hosting, I'm going to share my screen again here. One of the things that I really like a lot is called Soapbox. There's another product that's just like it called Vidyard. It basically allows you to video, and I'll share my screen again. This product allows you to video something. So say I'm in Twin Cities Startup Week. make sure you guys can see this. So say I'm in Twin Cities Startup Week and I want to do a video to walk somebody through the web page. I can click up on my soapbox icon. It's going to pick up which camera I want. It's going to let me set my audio, start recording. I can pick my screen, so I'm going to do this one. And now after the countdown to 4, 3, 2, 1, it's going to let me, go around my screen. It's actually recording everything I'm doing in here. So I can click on some of these. I can go down to Gabe, click on Gabe, look at what he's going to be presenting here. I can click on the information. Once I'm done recording, walking through what I want here, I can hit the stop button and it's going to give me a processing screen. That processing screen is going to let me do some simple inline editing. I can switch between a view of just me, a view of just the screen, and back and forth. I'm going to actually exit out of this one. I have one that I preset. It's going to do free hosting in their video library. It's also going to let you set a tile for that front icon of the video. So as I imagine I set this up, this is a message to investors. This is a message on support for my product. This is a message to someone that I'm interacting with. I can copy the URL for that thumbnail, go over to my email, compose an email, type out whatever it is, and then paste this in here. And you get that nice, basically what you're seeing is the video image right in that email of what it is that you're sending over. Get huge replies. People tend to really click on this. You get people to watch what your message is. So Soapbox is one of those tools that I really, really like. And it's a free tool. Vidyard is as well. It gives you unlimited hosting on their site. It's got a fairly nice backend. So if I actually click on Soapbox and go to my videos, you can go in here and see a bunch of videos that I've done. You can actually track activity, record other things. But there's a lot of nice features inside of Soapbox. So Soapbox or Vidyard, I like Soapbox a lot. One of my friends who's been in technology, jumping around the tech community in the Twin Cities, steered me onto it. Like I said, I've used it for interactions with friends, family. My wife is the head of a nonprofit, so I've actually used it to walk her through some of the things that she needs to do to set up back ends for her nonprofit fundraising site. A lot of support. So I've done a lot of, if you have a customer that's got a question and you've got an early round product that maybe you don't have a big Zendesk center built out, or you don't have a huge support team, do a video walking through. They see you as maybe the founder or one of the heads of customer success or a salesperson walking them through that product. What a better way to get somebody really engaged with what they're doing than to have a quick video run through of what that product is. So question here, I have a tutoring business. Going virtual has been both exciting and challenging. What would be a good strategy to keep people from more engaged from the standpoint of video recording? So video recording, kind of getting into that. I like YouTube. You can tag it up. You can put it other places. I also like, a lot of the social media platforms. Honestly, talking to a lot of people in the industry, check out TikTok, get on there, give it a try. Even if you don't think, that it meshes with what you're doing, put videos on TikTok. It's got some of the biggest viewers of anywhere. So anybody, anywhere. So check out TikTok. It's got a lot of business options in there. You can also save the recordings so that you can put them other places. You can save a recording of something you did there, push it out to your Instagram, to your Facebook. But yeah, get out on all the sites. And one of the things is use your device, get a high quality device and natively put those videos in different places. So I've got somebody here. I want to give you guys an example of customers done a lot of video. And one of the things that a lot of people don't know is you can set videos in the top of your, hold on one second. I got to share this again. I want to show you guys someone here. And so this is a Facebook profile, and you can see that this person has a video that's set to autoplay on their page. So as soon as you click to this person's page for their business profile, you can see that they've got video playing. Scrolling down, people don't interact with much the way that they interact with video. So looking down at, interactions with videos, you can see high levels of engagement with people watching a lot of videos, unboosted or not. And I think that it's just one of the really good ways to get people involved is, again, sharing video. And you can do that through different products. So my phone, I have a Nokia. So nothing special. It's like $300, way cheaper than a lot of other things, but it's got the wide angle lenses like a lot of things, and it's got Carl Zeiss lenses. So Zeiss, Z-E-I-S-S, been in the lens business for a long time. Previous life of mine, I was a Canon rep, among other things, at the wholesale level for cameras. So I love Canons. I've got a bunch of Canons. My most recent Canon purchase is an SL3. So if you're interested in getting to do video with added bigger equipment, check out the Canon SL3. It's the lightest mirrored camera you can get that does awesome video. It does 4K, does a lot of cool stuff, but I love Canons. My phone is Nokia because I like to be able to do video, but like a lot of things, you can go on, Amazon and pick up a $10 or $20 adapter that's just an external microphone, and it's going to do way better than what you have on just your phone built in. So buy those inexpensive adapters. Really anything. Amazon, just get something that's made in China for $10 and you have a microphone that's going to be way better than what's coming off of your devices. Because before I go into anything else, I would say with what I'm doing now too is I use external microphones. So I've got, an external microphone I'm using for this. I love blue stuff. I've also got a blue Snowball. This is the original Pro one that's got a lot of options. So I like to use external audio. I also like to, so external lenses for phones. I don't love external lenses for phones. If I'm going to do something that's going to be dedicated to doing video, I'd use something that's going to be, external lenses attached to a camera. But there's I can't remember who it was, but there was a photographer who said a long time ago, he said, the best camera you have is the camera that you've got with you at the time. And I'm absolutely a proponent of that. I mean, if you're out in the field talking to customers and they're saying, oh, I love your product, I love what you're doing, or investor, you guys are freaking awesome. You can tell that to anybody. Whip out your camera phone, video them, do a quick testimonial. Nothing will sell your product better than what you're doing and doing great things than customers giving feedback that you can get video of, sharing with other people on how you're doing. So no, I would say you can get a simple button microphone that's just the size of your basically your mini port plug for your phone, and it'll put in and it'll let you just put it in there. So let's see. I think somebody else wanted to share video. Let's see. I think I enabled that. Maybe. But yeah, so I have a lot of add-ons. I also think that if you're going to do your home stuff or you're going to do video from a laptop that's secure, do things like there's cameras that are, easy external webcams that it's actually a camera that you can use for videoing, doing video and still, but it also doubles as a webcam. So it gives you the ability to have zoom, a lot more focus ability and other things with your webcam. So if you're going to do a lot of video from a stationary place, invest in doing some of those extra additions. One of the things that I like a lot is doing light. So I'll show you guys a little bit of what I've got going on here. So I've got a light here, and I've got another light on the other side, and I've got another light over there. But what I wanted to really show you guys, which I think is awesome, is this light. So bring it over here. So this is a soft light, and it's on a remote control. So if you're sitting doing video and you want people to be able to, see you a little bit differently, one of these lights, you can hit a remote control and you can change it to a more warm hue. You can change it to a white hue, a cold hue. You can decrease the brightness, increase the brightness. If you're doing a lot of video, the things that I would really invest in would be your lighting, your audio, and then of course your recording gear. You can even get a external webcam that is 20 or 30 bucks that will plug into your computer, 1080, 4K, but it's gonna be way better. I've got a MacBook Pro. You can see what the difference is when you change the lighting up. It really makes a difference of the feel of the image. But cool thing, this was 45 bucks on Amazon. I've got a lot of Pro light kits, and some of the stuff that you can get now is crazy. I mean, plugging something in a soft box that you can, control everything with the click of a button. So those would be the big things if you guys are going to get into, if you want to spend some money, get into a little bit of lighting, some microphones and some light cameras. What brand of light do I recommend? I can afterwards, if anybody wants to follow up with me, I can give you a list of products that I suggest to get on Amazon. I'm always buying new stuff. And honestly, I try to find stuff that's really reasonable, like for cameras, not so much cameras, but especially for lights and microphones, I try to find stuff that's in that like $50 price point. So people can, if you want to staff up a team, like you've got a team that's doing customer support videos or a team of salespeople or XYZ things, you can have a team that you can easily outfit with video gear to really up the game of your videos that you're doing. So, but yeah, follow up with me anywhere you want, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, on all the things. So definitely willing to share ideas on that stuff. So we're about at the halfway point on some of the things I wanted to cover. talked a lot about, the gear that I use. I love Canon stuff. Like, I'm doing a pro video shoot. I use my Canon stuff, and I go out and I do, I've got a lot of plugins, right? So I've got an external mixer that I got a while ago that plugs into my Canon. I will have a shotgun mic, and it also lets me tap into house audio. So if you're going to do events with any of your customers, or you want to have a mixed audio, you can get external mixers that you can plug right into a SLR camera or your computer for that matter. $150, $200 that will do a really good audio quality where you can mix audio coming in. I do a lot of live stream stuff on top of, doing more traditional video and video for social media platforms. So I can go a lot further into live streaming if you guys have some interest in me talking about live streaming, but let me know. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. Looks like we got some good chat going on. Let me know what more things you guys are interested in hearing about. All right, so Patrick said Canon also released a webcam utility for most of their nicer cameras, so you can use a DSLR as a webcam. Correct. I love Canon stuff. I love streaming. So what do you guys use for streaming services? Has anybody used any products? Because what I was going to go into was OBS. It's something I've used for a long time. I use it for streaming services, for YouTube recording. A lot of people use it for Twitch, if you're familiar with gaming. I can show you guys some OBS stuff that I think is kind of cool. I can go into that now. So I'm going to share so live streaming from outdoor places. What I do is I've got a dedicated hotspot that's uncapped, and I can run that to either an iPad Pro. I've got it set up with a Bogan Manfrotto tripod. It's a heavy duty one. It's an older one. It's actually made in Italy. You can get them inexpensively online. And it's probably, I have it. I'm going to show it. I'm going to show you guys my tripod just because I love this tripod. It's unbreakable. And I think it goes up to about 10 feet if you're going to stand. Hold on one second. I'll show you my tripod. So this is one of my favorite tripods. It is like I said, it's a Bogan tripod, handmade in Italy, heavy duty metal. It's got adapter heads. And what I have is I've got a plate head that I put in a iPad Pro that's got, actually, I use the iographer stuff as well. So iographer adapter to my iPad Pro. You can get an iPad Pro that you've got an unlimited data plan with. I have an external hotspot. So what I do is I put all that together on the big tripod, external mixer on top, plug into house audio of something. Also have a shotgun microphone or some wireless mics that I tie into people if I'm doing a big event. Set it up and puts out a pretty good feed. The other option is if you are out, that would be totally wireless out in the field. Monitor my phone so I can make sure the feed quality is good. Always record those in HD, save them to your device so that you can push them to YouTube later on to do lots of different things. OBS is awesome. There's other things you can use. Free open source, works on PCs, works on Macs. I'm going to show you what this looks like. So let me share the screen. If you want to double click on it, you can see it better. But so OBS, open source broadcaster, it lets you do a lot of things. So you can bring in different feeds. So you can see each one of these is an element. So I've got the background image picture I took up in Grand Marais, Minnesota. I've got the Twin Cities Startup Week logo. I've got my feed here. Imagine I could bring in a feed from another person or another person. Difference between doing this and running something through Zoom or other products is you can really change your settings. So you can have multiple mic audio inputs. You can really set how you want the video feed to come through as far as quality. I can stack other things in here. So I can stack in audio input capture, the browser, display capture, images, lots of different things. So if you're at all into video editing, I'm old school trained. I went through stuff with CTV in the north suburbs. I went to Manilda, did a lot of stuff with them. St. Thomas, one of my majors was communication studies with an emphasis on audio video technician and production. So if you're using open source broadcaster, you can stack your feeds, background images, multiple video feeds, different audio feeds, images. And yeah, so you can actually, one of the things I do is recording. So if you hit start recording, it's going to start recording onto your computer You can see your CPU usage and buffer rate down in the corner, but you can also start streaming at the same time. So right now that's going to a YouTube server that's on my account that's patched into both the server, and then you have an access key. So at the same time, you can be recording in high definition through your computer, and you can be streaming out in high definition to Facebook, YouTube, or other places. Share it on video, hop in without showing your UI through a screen share. I think so. I would have to think about that a little bit more. But yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. So I'm going to stop streaming and stop recording. Good thing to know about this is it's totally open source. Anybody can use it. Works on Macs and PCs, and it's got a ton of settings. So if you go into settings, you've got general settings, stream settings, output, audio, and you can see lots of, you can have, I think it looks like at least 5 different audio inputs, video outputs. You can set your resolution, how you want it sampled and pushing out. You can do hotkeys. So big fan of open source broadcaster. So I wanted to show that to you guys, make sure that I got a chance to run through it. One of my favorite tools, actually, they were one of the first, I found them when I was first trying to do 2 things, pull in video from my old Canon. So they were one of the first things you could pull in Canon DSLR video from. Also one of the platforms you can stream in good old, 360. So you can actually set up a stream running from open source broadcaster through a Theta device, or actually pull in the video through a Theta device, mix in some audio that you want, house audio or other words, and then broadcast that. And if you had people that had the right headsets, or they wanted to use their phone with, Google Cardboard or something to that effect, you would be able to have them be live 360 in that event. So have a full event in 360. So yeah, open source broadcaster, I like it a lot. I love open source free stuff, stuff that you can try and works all over the place. So other things. So talked a little bit about open source broadcaster. What size lens do I recommend using for Canon video conferencing? Honestly, something like a solid state 50 or a 35. I like to use lenses that have a very large aperture setting, so you can bring in a lot of definition and a lot of light. Light's, of course, going to be a big deal when you're doing live streaming. So I like to use something that's maybe a fixed focus lens. It's a little more setup when you're doing your setup where your tripod is, but I love the fixed focus lenses for my Canons. Just let you bring in a lot of light and have a lot more control. So if you want to use Canons, I would definitely recommend that. Other things I want to touch on: Zoom and GoToMeeting for people that use those. Zoom, I would say I use both of them a lot. There's free options in both Zoom and GoToMeeting for sharing video with customers, clients, people you're doing outreach to if you want to do live back and forth. I guess more of a fan of Zoom. If you're in a nonprofit setting, you can get Zoom Pro for a lesser cost. And you have the ability to both have your video running of whatever you're doing, presenting, talking to people on Zoom. You also can record it onto your device right away and then push that feed out to YouTube and or Facebook. So Zoom has that option that I like a lot more than the stuff that you can do through GoToMeeting, but they both got their pluses and minuses. I feel like GoToMeeting is more corporate in a lot of ways, but I have a lot of experience in both of those, whatever fits for what you're using. So one thing I would say though is, when you're doing video, when you're telling your story, when you're connecting with investors, really think about that emotional connection and being honest, right? So be honest with what your story is, how you're feeling about things, about what you're trying to accomplish. So if you're a startup and you're struggling for money and you really need someone to invest so that you can do X, Y, Z things and not shut your doors, or maybe not go back to your day job, you can do video to very easily, convey that message that you are maybe struggling to get funds, but then also that that with the right funds, your product can explode and it could be a $10 billion product in a couple of years. Hard to do when you're typing it out, or maybe even over a phone, but when someone can read, your expressions and see what you're talking about, those are things that you can't do over emails and you can't do over the phone. So to that too, when you're doing these communications with either clients or you're doing maybe ad promotions, or especially if you're doing testimonials, think about multiple uses for your video. content is king. And if you're somebody that's got out and you're videoing yourself, and your company's videoing itself, and you're videoing customers, and you're videoing testimonials from customers, think about not just having that video content that you can put out on LinkedIn natively and tag people up, and Twitter natively, and Instagram natively, and Snapchat natively, but also think about ripping that audio, because if you're a company that wants to really connect and build that base of content with all of your customers, you can certainly rip the audio off of your video files and have a podcast. So, if you've got a great conversation that's explaining your product, or you're talking about with a customer, maybe how they're using your product, rip that audio, and there you got a podcast. So you've got other ways to use that video rather than just the visual. Lots and lots of ways to use video in startups, technology, fundraising. I've seen a lot of changes too. I was one of the people that used Yelp when it first started out a long time ago. And when I started using Yelp, it was something that was pretty much just text-based, where you type things and that was it. And then they got into where you could upload pictures, and it was all web-based. So I used to have a little Canon point and shoot camera, and I go out to Yelp events, take pictures of things. I like eating food, I'm a big guy. And so I do a lot of those. And then it started to change to mobile, and it was pictures, and you could check in and things. And now I've seen this explosion in Yelp, and actually a lot of sites where video really, that content is showing again that it's the king of what you do. So taking the pictures, and especially video of things on Yelp or review sites, or you name it, that's what people pay attention to, and that's what they watch and follow. You look on Amazon for reviews, people look at the pictures, but the videos can tell a whole lot more than a couple pictures. Same things with reviews on Yelp, or reviewing your site, or customers talking about you. Video can really do a lot to expand your message and show more deeply what you guys are doing. So think a lot about that, how you're going to use video. And if you're just going to use your phone, make sure that you've got a good battery, or that you've got a backup power bank. One of the things when I'm going out and doing a shoot when I'm out, on site, is power. So even though I'm not in the old days of 30 plus years ago with my grandpa toting around these big batteries that would last 20 minutes, power is a big deal, right? Again, you can go on Amazon, get a 25,000 AMH power bank for like 30, 40 bucks. And that's going to power your phone multiple charges, your device multiple charges. One of the reasons I like the iPad Pros, if I'm going to do events or doing some live streaming, is, Apple stuff, they build in pretty good quality, but they also have a big battery. So an iPad Pro's got a big battery compared to your phone. But again, my phone, I got it because I love doing video. So I'll go up and do video somewhere where I am packing in super light if I'm going backpacking, or if I've got a testimonial from a customer and I've just got my phone, whip it out. I've got awesome camera quality, but then I can also, do what I want with that video. So, so a lot of stuff. Anything else that anybody would like to cover in depth? He's a big proponent of using video to tell your message. Really just think about it, maybe write some things down. I would never be overly scripted. The best story is going to be your story, your true story. And whatever platform you decide to share it with customers and investors and users of your product. Awesome uses for doing training. So if you're a new product, record those things. If you take the jump, it'll go far. So I would say that there's a person that I've worked out with that's up in northern Minnesota, Grand Marais, actually. They started doing workouts during COVID from Grand Marais. And I'd done a couple of her classes in person, and she started doing them on Zoom. And for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, I was doing 7 a.m. on Monday and Wednesday classes with someone up in Grand Marais, Minnesota, 250 miles from me. Almost seems like a different world. Through Zoom, my video was on. I was doing all these workouts and things. And I mentioned, if you made these on demand and put them somewhere where you could gate your content a little bit, or if you just want to put them on YouTube and use it to build your message, you do a huge, huge service to people that need exercises and people that need to work out, and you could build your business a lot. And that's true. I mean, a lot of people can create unique content, original content, but they're scared to it. They don't want to put it out there. This friend in person, we've been friends for a while. I've worked out with my wife and my older daughter too a couple of times. Her business actually grown enough with her in-person business where she's not doing that right now. But I just think of all the people that are doing things in life that could benefit from, sharing your message on video, creating content around what you do, how to do it, maybe how-to videos, maybe implementation videos, do side-by-side ones. So a video doesn't have to be, just your product in one screen, no person there. Add that personal aspect of you or one of your product managers or whoever in your organization is good as a people person talking to your customers and clients so they can see that person along with whatever the product is that they're implementing. So yeah, a lot of uses for video. Those are a lot of things that I covered. So any other questions anybody has, again, follow me, connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter or somewhere else, and I will send you over the list of kind of product recommendations I have. I don't actually have one really built out right now, but I know that there's a lot of stuff out there. My new favorite is the remote control light. I love that one. So the microphone that I'm using today is a newer one that I just got recently, testing it out. And just always looking for new products. So but also check out, if you're in the Twin Cities market or not, Social Media Breakfast. It's hashtag SMBMSP. Great group of people that just share knowledge about technology, what's going on in marketing, what's going on in sales. One of the ways that I stay abreast of a lot of stuff, but honestly, this is too. I mean, Twin City Startup Week, there's a lot of awesome tech. There's a lot of companies doing things that are things that you wouldn't expect. And you just got to keep your eyes open and keep learning and keep changing. I mean, when I started doing video editing a long time ago, huge cameras, linear editing, a lot of people don't even know what linear editing is. You'd actually have a switcher. So you'd have 2 tape decks and then a 3rd tape deck, and you'd have a switcher in between, and you'd actually physically switch which deck you wanted coming from. And then you'd have a computer that was dedicated to graphics. And so you'd have to embed the graphics over the video and then switch it onto a final tape. And that would be the production tape that was done. So then that tape would go into old school, like really old school, a whole bunch of decks that the place that was going to put out the video to via cable or satellite or internet would play, and their system would actually play those various tapes over different times. And I just remember doing video editing growing up and having every splice you did was a downgrade in quality. And oh man, I hated editing. Editing is a whole nother beast. I've got feelings towards different editing things. If you're just getting into having video and you want to edit it, it's a good thing to do. It's going to take a lot of time, like a couple-minute video. You could spend 5 or 10 hours of editing to make it the way that you want. Products out there, a lot of Apple's Mac devices come with iMovie, which is pretty good. Final Cut Pro is a kind of industry standard. You can also use, there's some Adobe products out there that can do a lot of cool stuff. So yeah, editing is a whole nother ball game for video, but I kind of wouldn't recommend that to people just starting out. I would say just produce some video around your product and what you're trying to do and get that video out there to your people. So I think I've got about 3 minutes left. I believe this is going to go until 2:45. So yeah, if anybody else has, any questions, certainly let me know. We got a lot of tech. If you were looking at my desk, which you saw a little bit of, you just got tech sitting everywhere, especially for this, trying to prep and figure out what I could show everybody. So takeaways, use the device you have to capture video, share it with people natively on whatever site you have. Lighting is a big deal. Audio is a big deal. Put my email in here if anybody wants to contact me. That's Gmail. But just get out and do video, because you'll see that it's connecting with people better than anything else. In a world where a lot of marketing things are not doing so well unless you pay, I think organic video can still, without paying to have it pushed out, can still do a lot to spread your message. And that's if you're doing it on sites in a marketing or sales field. Either way, it's going to connect well with investors and people that are donors and telling your story, brand ambassadors. Think about video too, internally. So maybe you're a small startup scaling, do some video for your customers that are internal. So those employees that are new, you do a walkthrough of some of the products or what you guys do to help them get better at using your product or internal processes. So it's a good education tool, that's for sure. And hosting on YouTube doesn't have to be everybody seeing it for the world. YouTube, you can do a lot of things. So you can have private things that are just for you to see, where you store it as a warehouse where it's still free to host there. Unlisted things so that only people with a link can see it to either a playlist or a specific video. And then of course there's live in public so that everybody can see it all the time. So you even got specific data sharing settings within YouTube. If you choose to host there, there's Vimeo and other sites that you can host on where you have more control over what happens, but lots of options. So thanks everybody for joining today. I'm going to jump off here and hope you have a great rest of your Twin Cities startup week. And I hope to connect with you other places, LinkedIn, other places, anywhere on the web. And any feedback you guys have got or anything you want to learn, let me know. And it's been great. Thanks, guys.